we're always talking about the big crises and terrible things. There are some actual efforts of a hopeful kind. Chile is one of them. South Africa, was moving down the direction, just like Brazil is now, of a corrupt dictatorship. And they mobilized and defeated it. So that is your challenge, to reinvigorate democracy. If we manage to beat Biden, if we manage to beat Trump, and you manage to beat Bolsonaro, and then we have Mexico, those are the three major countries of the New World. And we could have actually a pro-democratic alliance. Incredible. I know right now, it seems like, everyone is so depressed, and they should be. But my message that I want to convey is that there is a path that is doable, not, fancy, utopian, that is doable for the rejuvenation of constitutional democracy and a struggle for social justice in a constitutional democracy.
He's asking what a Biden win would mean for Brazil, maybe in specific terms like trade agreements, and how would that affect our country?
The crucial point is that Biden, and I'm acquainted with him, it's certainly true over the years, believes in democracy. He will not make deals with Bolsonaro. Period. He will not. He is first, and really Brazil is important, but not that important to the American economy. He will turn first his attention to reconstructing our alliances and relationships with Europe. It is only in 2022, if you defeat Bolsonaro, that the new democratic government will then get a big deal. Trump is only making deals right now so they can win the election in Iowa.
Professor Ackerman, let me just drop some pragmatism here on
Yes.
what you're saying. I apologize, but you just said that it would be more interesting for Brazil. I mean, that if Biden is elected, he won't be dealing with Brazil as long as Bolsonaro is in power. Considering we still have 2 years of Bolsonaro in government, then I'm afraid it's from this moment onwards my interest that Trump gets reelected, because I would like my country to have deals with America for the next 2 years.
Right.
I mean, how is that interesting for Brazil? I beg your pardon?
At the sacrifice of the next 30 years?
But
the
problem is, for example, when you talk about bombing, Obama killed more people during his government than Trump.
That's right. But
Obama also banned more immigrants. Until last year, that was the count. I mean, there are some premises.
I agree with you. I'm not an apologist for Obama. I oppose these measures. I think that Obama was a great disappointment. But I don't think that Biden will be the same as Obama. He has 4 years. This is his legacy. He knows that he will be succeeded by someone else. I'm not an apologist. I believe that the last 30 years, from Clinton through Bush, through Obama, through Trump, all of those people prepared the way in various ways for Trump. I am not an apologist of the last 30 years. The question is not the last 30 years. The question is the next 30 years.
Right.
And if you say, okay, well, for the next 2 years, Bolsonaro will have to pay, and the Brazilian people, after all, Bolsonaro is doing quite well. The Bolsa Familiar actually, paradoxically, is helping them out.
Mm-hmm.
There are many paradoxes in the present situation.
Yeah.
But the crucial question for the rising generation of brasileiros,
Brasileiros, yeah.
is the future. And I say that, yes, you will have to pay a price for the next 2 years, but it's a price worth paying if we in the new world actually revive and rejuvenate collectively the democracy.
Okay, Miguel is asking you about the car wash operation, anti-corruption judicial operation, and he's asking if there was indeed judicial agreements made between America or prosecutors in America and Brazilian prosecutors, if you are aware of those dealings, because in a way there was. Petrobras was also sued in America. And Miguel also wants to know if there is a risk in which the judiciary system is taking over politics in a way, or interfering to a level in which politics is left on the side while there is some kind of lawfare ruling society.
Well, I have no knowledge. I really don't. I'm not in a position to comment upon the particular facts. I just don't know them. But on the larger issue, I'm entirely in agreement. And what I'm arguing here is that politics should come first. And with politics should come first in defeating Bolsonaro, and then organizing a constituent assembly, which will try to revise the obvious failures of the Brazilian Constitution. The Brazilian Constitution is 35,000 words long. It's much too long. It tries to do too many things. We can go back and explain why Sarney was, only had one objective, which was to stay in power, and made various and sundry deals. It didn't make sense under, and we now see that things like Lava Jato, we have to have an independent anti-corruption institution. Let's look around the world. We see that. Let's learn from the experience, the success stories.
What would you use as an example for this type of independent committee of notables controlling?
Well, we have to organize it very carefully. Hong Kong, for the last 30 years, has had a special anti-corruption insulated institution with an insulated bureaucracy, and they get paid $400,000 a year, each of them. But if they're caught, they get fired and they lose all their pensions and money. So each of them, they're trained professionals, and it's not in their interest to take a deal because they will lose not only their reputation.
They are prosecutors? That's their status?
No, we have to do two things with institutions. You have to create incentives. If you pay them a lot and you say, if we find one piece of evidence that you have made one deal, we fire.
But these people that are paid $400,000 per year, you were talking about, are they prosecutors watching corruption, or they are the legislators? I didn't get it.
They're neither. They're independent agency.
Like regulators? The regulators, you mean?
They're a special bureaucratic elite, just as in France. We also have a insulated system of regulation for corruption. In Germany, there are a lot of places where we can learn things.
Well, he basically asked, what can the opposition to Trump in America teach our own opposition in Brazil to Bolsonaro, or the Bolsonaro opposition here, considering that you have a bipartisan system here and a multi-party system here as well. So if you could maybe talk about.
The Democratic Party is a coalition of left social democrats and centrist free market under regulated markets. Those are the two basic ideologies. And the crucial question was whether we were going to unite. If we did not unite and put all our energy and all our organization and mobilization behind a candidate, if, let's say, the candidate was one who was radically unacceptable to one side or another, they would just sit down and not try to mobilize tens of millions of followers to vote against Trump. The crucial thing is whether there really is, in this great, terrible moment, a realistic path to reaffirming the possibility of democracy in the 21st century. And